Oh, it's a beautiful time to be alive when we can get rich from just making content. All right, singing aside, although you didn't know I had those vocals, huh? But seriously, we are so lucky to be living in the best time as it has ever been in the entire history of the human race, because we can literally build 6- and 7-figure and beyond businesses for ourselves just from making content. And how would I know? Well, I've made over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product doing a little over 900K. And that happened because content drives traffic that converts to sales. But most content creators, they're just out here trying to create content just to get a bunch of views and crossing their fingers and hoping that they'll go viral for absolutely Lord knows why. Why do they want to go viral? Look, you don't need to get the most views. You don't need to go viral. You need to get the right views. And where most content creators are messing up is that they're just creating content instead of thinking like an entrepreneur and instead of thinking business first. So you don't need to be a content creator. You need to be what I like to call a contentpreneur. Create content with the entrepreneurial mind. And in this video, I'm gonna cover the 5 types of content that you need to make and only focus on these 5 types of content. I'm telling you, you'll build your business and you'll make so much. And look, I'm not exaggerating when I say that you're living in the best time ever to be a human being, because you can literally just sit down, grab a camera or grab your phone and make some content. Like, we don't have to worry about going outside and being eaten by a tiger or something like that. Or we don't have to like risk our lives to make some money like they had to do way back in the day just to survive. Like, we can literally just make content. It's only gonna take me about 5 minutes to break this down. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then you'll probably just end up being like one of those aspiring content creators that are just trying to get views for absolutely no reason. They don't know why they want to get the views, and they're just doing the same old song and dance, doing a bunch of goofy looking stuff instead of getting the right views, and the right views which will turn into dollars for your business. So if that's you, then feel free to go ahead and click off of this video. That's your business. And you know, I ain't into your business. I just mind my online business. You know what I'm talking about? But listen, what you need to understand is this. There are tons of people that would love to buy what you have to sell if they only knew that you exist. So how do you let them know that you exist? Well, you need to focus on becoming findable, right? And how do you become findable? Well, one of the best ways that you can become findable is by making this first type of content. You need to answer questions, but don't just answer questions in your content. You need to answer specific questions. And this is key. Answer specific questions. Remember, I said this isn't just about getting views. This is about getting the right views. And when you focus on answering specific questions, you're going to get people that are looking for the answers for a specific question or for a specific problem that they have in their life. And when they search that question, boom, you are going to pop up. That's why I said we have to answer specific questions, not generalities, because remember, this is about becoming more findable. And there's 2 great resources that I use to find these questions that people are searching the internet for the answers for each and every single day. So the first one is called Answer the Public. AnswerThePublic.com. Now, when you go on Answer the Public, what Answer the Public is that basically you can type in anything in regards to any niche, and Answer the Public is going to give you the top searched questions that people are searching for the answers to each and every single day. So if you happen to be in the health niche, I'm just making up a niche off the top of my head, you can type in anything to do with health on Answer the Public, and it's going to bring up all of the top searched questions that people are looking for the answers to each and every single day. And it's going to even break it down in these nice little categories of the who, the what, the when, the where, how. It'll put it in prepositions and whatnot, literally everything that people are searching for. And then you simply just make the content answering those specific questions. Another thing that I like to use, and this is really slept on, and I'm telling you, You will have a huge advantage on people creating content, especially on this platform of YouTube, if you just do this because nobody does this. I use this platform that you're on right now as a research tool. I use YouTube, but I don't use YouTube to research by like watching videos and whatnot to create content or to answer specific questions, create this content where I'm answering questions. I use the YouTube search bar. Nobody's using this. I'm giving you like one of my biggest secrets right now. Like, I'm giving you a lot of sauce right now. What Gucci said on that one video years ago, this is all sauce, no meat. Pause. The YouTube search bar can be your friend if you just start to use it. Just start to give it a little bit of attention. And when you're creating content and even on consuming YouTube content, you need to think as a content producer instead of just always consuming this stuff. But how I use the YouTube search bar is this. Think about this. If we're going to be answering specific questions and we're focused on becoming more findable, what are people using to find answers? Number one, they're using Google, because Google is the number one search engine on the entire planet. Like in the world, Google's the number one search engine, right? But guess what is the number two search engine in the world? It's YouTube, because Google owns YouTube. Just think about how you use this platform also. Unless you're just scrolling on your home screen for entertainment, a lot of times, aren't you typing stuff in the search bar? Don't you have questions that you're looking to the answers for? Don't you have information that you're seeking? And I know you do, because you're looking to better yourself, and you're looking to better yourself as an entrepreneur and most likely personal development and stuff, or you wouldn't even be watching this channel. You wouldn't even be tuned into me right now, right? So you're on YouTube a lot looking to better yourselves, and you're typing stuff into the search bar, ain't you? Right? I already know you are, because I do too. You do too. We're pretty much the same. That's why we're friends. You know what I'm saying? But the YouTube search bar, I will type stuff into the search bar to let YouTube auto-populate the end of my search phrases so I can see what other people are searching for on this platform, and then I make content answering those actual questions. So again, just using the health niche as an example, if I was happen to be in the health niche and I was talking about content of how to lose weight, right? I'll go onto the YouTube search bar and I'll put something like how to lose weight. I'll put something like how to lose weight, and then right there, I'll leave it blank, and then I'll put in like the letter A, and I'll let YouTube auto-populate what comes after the A, because the algorithm of the YouTube search bar is going to give me stuff that is the most frequently searched stuff, right? Then I'll delete that A, and I'll put how to lose weight B, and I'll let YouTube auto-populate everything after B. Then I'll put how to lose weight C. I'll let YouTube auto-populate, and I literally do that with every single letter of the alphabet just so I can see what people are searching. And then I make content answering those specific questions. This is how you become findable. Like I said, this is not about us going out and finding customers. This is not us going out and trying to figure out how can we get in front of people. Like I said, there are tons of people that would love to buy what you had to sell if they only knew that you exist. And we become findable. So when they're looking for the solutions to their problems, we just pop up in their face and be like, hey, here I am, I can help you. And just a rule of thumb in business, period. It's always going to be more easier, if more easier is even that's not even proper English. Hey, you're taking advice from a guy that doesn't even know how to talk a lot of the times, but it's always going to be easier to attract someone versus than to chase them. And when we focus on becoming findable, we are attracting leads, we are attracting customers, we are attracting views to our content versus trying to force it and go. It's even like just on some basic fundamental boy meets girl type stuff. I know it's always easier for me to attract a woman throughout my history than to go out and chase her, because you know, boy meets girl, boy loves girl, girl annoys boy, until boy goes and does some other stuff to make the woman attract. Like it's the same stuff. Humans, we're all pretty much the same, like since children, right? So the way that you can become findable and start building that actual audience is answering specific questions. A lot of people, they're just answering questions, but not the specific questions that people are searching the internet for each and every single day, which leads into the second type of content that you need to be focused on. Is teaching specific skills. What? Teaching specific skills. And this is pretty much self-explanatory, because if we're going to be answering specific questions, we should probably make content teaching specific skills, right? And on this type of content, something that works great are like tutorials or whatnot, right? Because when these people are on these search bars or they're on the internet constantly searching for the answer to their specific questions, your content should pop up in front of them where you are teaching that specific skill. It goes hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly, which peanut butter and jelly is just on my mind because I have a Uncrustable, actually 2 Uncrustables thawing out on my kitchen counter right now that I'm just waiting to eat and watch the next episode of the House of Dragons and eat my Smucker's Uncrustables. And if you get peanut butter and jelly, always get strawberry over jelly. And if you like Uncrustables, even when they're still like a little bit frozen, oh my goodness, it is. Let's get back to trade. Let's get back to the money making here, right? But this pretty much self-explanatory. Teach specific skills on answering those specific questions. Then number 3. Well, number 3, you don't always have to create the wave. A lot of people, they're struggling because they're always trying to create their own wave instead of just riding the wave that's already existing. So with number 3 here, you can do what I like to call trend surfing, right? Trend surfing. Now, think about this. There's always going to be something that's trendy that's happening, especially online and in this content space, right? You can make content riding the wave of something that's already trendy, but the way that I like to do stuff is a little bit different, because the way that most people are riding trends, they're messing up because they're not sticking out amongst the actual trends. So put it like this: when people are typically trend surfing, everybody just looks the same, right? Everybody just looks the same. And then they wonder why they can't get seen amongst the trend, because you're doing the exact same thing that somebody else is doing. Versus when I trend surf, I stand out. It's usually me with like a tongue sticking out or something. It's like eyeballs will come to me versus coming out to them, because I'll stick out amongst the trend. So how do you stick out amongst the trend? Something that I like to do is that I like to find trends outside of my actual niche, and then I bring it over to what it is that I'm actually doing. That's one of the best ways that I actually trend surf. So just using that health niche again as an example, if somebody's in the health niche or the health and wellness niche, right, they'll see something that's very trendy within their actual niche, and then they'll just go and do the same exact thing as everybody else is doing in their niche. Then they turn into all these people. But what I like to do is that I'll find something totally outside of my niche, and then I bring it over to here. Because like I said a little bit earlier, humans, we're all pretty much the same. Our brains all pretty much work the same. So I'm like, if something is really trendy in another niche and it took off in another niche, it'll probably still catch attention and still catch eyeballs within my actual niche. So I'll find people that's in niches that have absolutely nothing to do with what I talk about. Like, I had something that caught a lot of traction and got a lot of sales from me, but I got the idea from something that was trending in like the art world or something. I was just on YouTube researching, because like I said, you should look and see and watch content with a producer mindset more so than a consumer mindset. You need to produce more than you consume on social media, YouTube, whatever it is. Remember, contentpreneur, entrepreneur, business first, content creator second. But I was just doing some research and I saw some stuff taking off in the art world, and I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. Let me take some of that and bring it over here and apply it to some business stuff, right? Took off for me. Or the other way that you can trend surf is that you can kind of go against the wave. Like, you can figure out what's happening in trends just so you can do the entire opposite. So you can be this person right here that sticks out. Because with content creation, you want to stick out like a sore thumb. You want to be different. You want to be weird. And it's just in us, normally human nature, people, they want to fit in by nature, and they just want to follow everything that's trending. Versus sometimes when you go against the trend, or you're aware of the trend and you go totally against the grain, you stick out like that sore thumb. When you find something that's trending somewhere else and you bring it back to your ecosystem and your world, you stick out like a sore thumb because nobody else is really doing it. That's how you can create a blue ocean. I don't know if you're familiar with the book Blue Ocean Strategy, but that book, it talks about how to basically stick out in competitive markets, right? But that's how I like the trend surf. Or you could just stick with the trends that everybody else is doing. You'll probably get a little bit of views, but most likely people, they just end up looking the same like all these people and really don't get too much traction, right? Which leads to the fourth type of content you need to be focused on making. And let me preface this before. This type, number 4, this is the most dangerous of the 5. And honestly, I don't really do number 4, but it is something that you need to be thinking about, and it's something that you definitely can do. And this is, you're still riding the wave, but this wave is influencer surfing. Influencer surfing. This is when you basically ride the wave of another influencer. Now, the reason why I'm very cautious on number 4 and why I don't do much of number 4, honestly, is because I'm selfish, right? I want you to watch me. I don't want people to watch me because of what I'm talking about of another influencer or another entrepreneur, right? When people click my videos, I want you to watch Aston CEO. I don't want to bring that much light to other people, because one of the ways that you can influencer surf is by creating content about the actual influencer. You can talk about somebody else. You can see something that somebody else is doing that has a larger platform or a larger audience than you, and you can talk about that actual entrepreneur, that actual influencer, that actual creator, get some opinions on some stuff, get some stuff that you would do different, some stuff that you agree with, some stuff that they're going right, you would go left, that type of content. But the danger with that is that you're bringing more awareness to that actual influencer or to the actual creator or that entrepreneur or whatever you want to call it with your actual content. And the danger in this is that a lot of people build platforms off of influencer surfing, and they don't realize until it's too late that they've built an entire audience that does not care about them. They care about what they have to say about other people. Or somebody, they'll sit there and they'll make a podcast, for example, and their podcast is totally influencer or other people dependent, right? There's a lot of podcasts to whereas they have to have a guest or they have to be interviewing somebody or else their podcast sucks. And then they build this audience of people that aren't really there for them. They're there watching their podcast or listening to their podcast solely dependent on who it is that they're actually interviewing, or they want to learn something from the person that they're actually interviewing. That if they stop having guests, or when they stop having guests, or when they come to the realization that, people aren't here for us, people are here for people that we're talking to, and they try to do some stuff that does not have a guest or that is not influencer surfing, their audience is like, man, you actually kind of boring, yo. I don't really like him. I don't really like her. Well, they were cool. I didn't realize how corny and lame they actually were, right? Because they built that audience just off of other influencers or other entrepreneurs. But a way that you can influencer surf that can work for you, I'll give you this example. I just used 2 pretty known guys in the entrepreneur or business space, right? As an example. I don't know if you're familiar with the guy by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki, if you don't know who he is, he wrote this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? Robert Kiyosaki, he is a champion of debt. If you watch any Robert Kiyosaki video, he sits there, his little beady eyes but behind those glasses, and he'll do this little evil looking grin. He'll say, "Oh, I love debt. I love debt. I have hundreds of millions of dollars of debt. You know why I own debt?
because I don't have to pay any taxes on my debt, and I just buy more assets with the debt, and I just debt.
All right, that's basically any Robert Kiyosaki video that you watch, right? But sometimes Robert Kiyosaki, he'll make content about a guy by the name of Dave Ramsey. If you're not familiar who Dave Ramsey is a guy that's basically anti-debt. Dave Ramsey does not want you to literally have 50 cents worth of debt. Totally anti-debt. So Robert Kiyosaki, since he knows he's mainly talking to business owners, aspiring business owners, entrepreneurs, or whatnot, he's talking with a different language. So he'll use Dave Ramsey as an example.
Oh, Dave hates debt, but I love debt because Dave's not talking to business owners. He's just talking to regular people, and I love debt.
Right? But that's just an example of where influencer surfing can help you if you have a viewpoint that's totally different than somebody else and you make that content, because you can use them. Like he may use a Dave Ramsey to get the eyeballs, but he knows that typically somebody that's going to watch his content is somebody that may have the mindset of, I may want to leverage some debt to actually grow a business, and they may come to agree with what he's actually saying versus the guy that's talking no debt. And let me tell you this from some experience too. This isn't a video about debt or anything like that, but if you think that you need to go and acquire some debt to build a business, you're dumb. You don't need to do that, and stop listening to all these credit gurus and stuff that tell you all these ways to get credit and business funding and whatnot, and they never tell you how to make no money from the funding. Guess what? You got to pay back that stuff. You go get a loan, you got to pay that back. So all these credit people just talking about how to go get funding and stuff, and they don't tell nobody how to do no business. You get business funding to grow a business. You don't get business funding to build a business. You need to have a proof of concept that you can make some money first. And then if you need any type of funding, that'll just be gasoline to throw on the fire that's already existing and make it bigger. But people think that they need to go get funding, or they watch these stupid shows like Shark Tank or something, and they listen to a whole bunch of very successful entrepreneurs that didn't take any debt to build their business. They go listen to Mark Cuban, who didn't take any debt to build his business. And they think that they can like build their business from getting funding from Mark Cuban instead of just learning how to sell. But that's a topic for another day. I know I'm going off on a rant here. Another way that you can influence surf is that you can be a guest on other people's podcasts, or you can collaborate, or you can collaborate with other creators or other entrepreneurs in creating actual content. You can do a collaboration, or you can be a guest on other people's stuff. This is something that I'm also very cautious with, because every time that you associate yourself with somebody else's brand, you are associating yourself with those people. So if that person that you collabed with, or that person that you were a guest on the podcast with, does some really shady stuff, or some weird looking stuff, people are going to associate you as that weirdo with that nasty weirdo over here, right? Just think of these celebrities, right? Like, I'm gonna just use Puffy Daddy as an example. I'm gonna use P. Diddy as an example. Never trust no grown man that calls himself Puffy Daddy, all right? But Puff has allegedly done a whole bunch of weird, nasty stuff, like some really nasty stuff. And there's so many people that are associated with him that now people also be looking at him and like, yo, was you doing some nasty stuff? You was in all them parties you was in all them white parties on Instagram. He did some stuff. Hey, Carisha, Young Miami, ain't that her name? Carisha or whatever. Yeah, you was with him. Was you doing some nasty stuff? Like, it's all these other people, even though they may not have done anything, but just by associating themselves with this person, when this person does some weird stuff, they think that you did some weird stuff with them. Or there's a lot of entrepreneurs that I even know of that have been guests on certain podcasts and stuff, or they've collabed with a lot of people. And these people, they go and they do some janky business, or it comes to light that they're not really good people. And then just by association, people start to think that they're not good people because they've seen you with them. They've seen you on podcasts. They've seen you
hanging out with them at multiple events, doing multiple webinars together, events, challenges, podcasts and whatnot. And that can go the other way too. You have people collab with you. You have people come to your platform. They do some weird, nasty stuff. People think that you weird and nasty for having them, right? So I just like to be really protective of my brand, because Aston CEO, it is me. Like, there's no difference in me and Aston CEO, because that's my name. Like, my middle name is Aston, and it's just how I am just in regular life, right? I don't put myself next to everybody. Like I said, I'm selfish with me. I want you to see and know me, and you should too. But the fifth type of content that you need to be making, and this is really, really big and slept on, and people are scared to do this, is stories. Stories sell. People, they buy stuff from people that they know, like, and trust. And people are going to come to know you, like you, and trust you when they know and understand your actual story. So a lot of those things that you're embarrassed about, a lot of those things that you're ashamed about, a lot of those things that you think are weird or quirky about you, that story is what is going to connect with people, and that is going to be the things that will make you actually stick out like a sore thumb. Remember, I said content creation. You want to be the sore thumb that sticks out. You want to blend in with everybody, and everybody's trying to look so perfect that nobody's really telling their story. And that's why a lot of people are failing, because they're not making that connection with anybody. Because us as human beings, we're emotional creatures, and we buy from emotion, and then we justify with logic. But we got to hit those emotions first. And what better way to hit an emotion or build an emotional connection with somebody through telling your actual story? And the way that I learned this was that I like to study businesses in my free time, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm building businesses. Why should I not study successful businesses? And I know this is a overweight check right here, but this obese check right here is Nike. And I understood this when I was studying Nike. Nike does not sell product. Nike does not sell athletic apparel. Nike sells stories. Look, growing up when I was a kid, Michael Jordan, as a kid in the 90s, the 1990s, gosh, like, I was born in the 1900s. When you say it like that, it makes you sound like a really, really old person, right? But back in the 1900s and 90s, Michael Jordan, biggest thing ever. Still Nike's biggest thing ever, right? But it wasn't all the athletic feats of Michael Jordan. It wasn't him flying through the air with his tongue out that made people like gravitate to Nike and Michael Jordan. Yes, that was an aspect of it, but the biggest thing was the story that Nike told of Michael Jordan. Because a lot of people could not relate to Michael Jordan because most people aren't as physically gifted as Michael Jordan. But Nike started to tell his story, right? Nike has this one ad that was crazy. This commercial was like, Michael Jordan wasn't even in his uniform, right? He was just in regular clothes, I think a trench coat, and it was just talking about how he failed at this, he failed at that. He got cut from his high school basketball team when he was a freshman. He lost at this, he lost at that. That's why it's at seed. Boom, then the Jumpman symbol came up. Kids and adults alike were like, in their brain, they're thinking, whoa, if Michael Jordan failed so many times, then I can still succeed after all of my failures. They hit on those emotions, and just think of any huge Nike athlete, they've told that story. They did the same thing with Serena Williams. They always showed her growing up as a kid in Compton with her dad around gangbangers. They did the same thing with Tiger Woods. They showed him as a little kid training with his dad, even to the point later on when Tiger had a son named Charlie. They started to tell that whole Tiger Woods story, then started to show Charlie's story and showing Charlie hitting the ball and doing all the same mannerisms on the golf course as his pops. They did the same thing with LeBron. They would tell his story from coming up from nothing, single mother, moved 50 times before he even got to high school to becoming the king, the chosen one, right? They tell stories because stories connect with people. Then they attach that product to the actual person, because there's 4 levels of leverage, and wealth has always been accumulated by leverage, right? Since the beginning of mankind, and we have labor, we have capital, we have code, and here at the top, which all of us have access to, is media. And media is the highest leverage that you can actually use for yourself. And when you attach that product with that media, or these 5 types of content that I just broke down, that's how you get numbers coming in online in your business, like all them that you see on the screen right now. So if you're ready to make more working less from stuff that you already know online, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join the It's Crowded at the Top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all of my exclusive trainings, plus a private community of entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $47 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. So click the link down in the description to tap in. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But I'm telling you, media, if you look at all the new billionaires, or what I like to call the new rich, how are they doing? They're leveraging their media with an actual product. Them Kardashians, Kylie, media, product, all the makeup, lip stuff. Rihanna, media, Fenty, product, boom. Ryan Reynolds, the actor, media, product. If y'all know about Ryan Reynolds, the actor that plays Deadpool, right? People don't know Ryan Reynolds is basically like a billionaire. He has this company called Mint Mobile, leverages media, his actual just YouTube content, sold Mint Mobile to T-Mobile for like $600-something million. He's done the same thing with the soccer team called Retsum. He's done the same thing with this gin called the Aviation Gin. That's even how he got the movie Deadpool created. They were trying to get Deadpool made for like 12 years. He leaked some footage on his YouTube channel, leveraged his media, and then the studio finally was like, okay, this is going crazy on this YouTube. Let's give this guy a little bit of money to make this movie. Now it's like a very, very popular franchise that many people, including myself, love and adore. Take it outside of celebrity. Elon Musk, richest guy on the planet, he bought Twitter. Why? Because he understands that that's media. You can do the same thing yourself with these cell phones that we have, these social media platforms, YouTube, and I'm telling you, you have access to the entire world within one little click or within the palm of your hands. Look, we got these smartphones. We got to stop doing dumb shit on smartphones and build these businesses for ourselves, and stop just being on the sidelines and just consuming content of everybody else and start producing this stuff. So look, go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. And now that you know what type of content to actually make, check out this video right here on how you can create a product in one day to attach to that media and make a bare minimum of $100,000. It's crowded at the top.